You alright, guys? You good? Yeah, yeah, nice. Yes. I'll tell you this. This happened to me the other day. I cycle. I cycle a lot in London to get around, and I always wear a helmet, right? And you know when you like wear a hat too long and it becomes a part of your head. Like, I get that with this helmet, right? And I joined a new gym recently, right? And I cycled to the gym. Don't usually cycle to the gym, and I didn't realise I left my helmet on for the workout. When you're in the gym with a helmet on, people treat you quite differently. You know? I'm working out, this guy's coming up to me, he's like, "You're doing so well today, buddy." I'm like, I am doing quite well, thanks. It's very nice of you to say, you know. He's like, "What are you working on?" I'm like, "I'm doing a superset." He's like, "Yes, you are. You're a super guy, aren't you?" I'm like, I am, actually. I'm walking around like, this is a very supportive gym. I'm going to keep coming back here, I think. I like it, you know. Obviously, eventually, I saw myself in the mirror. I was like, I see what's going on now. And then I was thinking, like, you know, I'm kind of stuck now. Like, is it better to take it off or leave it on, you know? I left it on because, you know, I'm never going to get that opportunity again, you know. Everyone's being so nice to me, you know. I was really taking the piss by the end of the day, you know. I'm going up to people like, "It's my turn on the machine now." And like, of course. You go. I wear a helmet every single time now. It's fucking great. Okay, right. I'll tell you this one. I've been thinking about this. You ever think about, like, you ever look back at your childhood and think, like, that wasn't cool that happened? I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about English class when I was like 13, right? So we, you know how they make you read like a book, like Mice and Men, that sort of thing. They made us read a book, and they were like, "We're going to take turns. You're going to read it out loud, right?" And the book that they chose us to read was To Kill a Mockingbird. Some of you have read that book. If you haven't read that book, the problem with that is they say the N-word in it quite a lot, right? And, you know, I went to a school in Kent, you know, so, like, I'm not black, and neither was anyone else in the class, right? And I remember, so, like, they're like, "We got to read it out one by one." The first kid, he was reading it out, you know, he gets to the word, and he's like, you know, and the teacher's like, "Say it." You know? Like, I'm looking around like, "No, I don't think we're allowed to." He's like, "You're allowed." It's like, I don't think you're allowed to give out the permission, sir. You know? And obviously, you know, he's pushing through. I was like, no, like, he's like, his justification was basically, he's like, "Look, right, this is part of history, okay? This happened, right? So we would be doing a disservice by not repeatedly saying the N-word to each other." And, you know, obviously I'm white, you know, I'm not even allowed to think the N-word, you know, like, I feel guilty just ordering a Negroni on a night out, you know, it's... Yeah, but no, he was really fucking, he was like, he's like, I was like, "I'm not saying it, I'm not fucking," he was like, "You know what, I've had enough of you, Josh, right? If you want to do well in English, you're going to say the N-word, right? And you're going to like it, alright?" I got an A star in English, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, right. Okay. I'm glad I got away with that. To be quite honest, that's all I wanted to be here for, is to know that was okay. Ben, is that good? Yeah? Cool. No. Alright, I'll do a quick shit one. I forgot to I have a small dick, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. It's part of the setup, but yeah, no. I know you were all looking at me like, "Oh, this guy's got a huge piece," you know, but no, I don't, right? I don't. I was on a date with a girl recently, and she was like, I was like telling her about my small dick, you know. She was like, "I always wondered what kind of dick I would have, you know, if I was a guy." And I was like, "Oh, you'd probably have a nice big dick, you know." She said, "Oh, stop it," you know. And then she was like, right, so you're saying like I've got like big dick energy, right? And I was like, yeah, you've got like big clit energy, yeah? And then she was like, that's very nice for you to say, but it doesn't really make sense, you know, because all the clitorises are the same size. And I was like, no, they're not, you know, like you got the little ones, you know, you can't really find, and you got like the big ones you can't really find either. And then some of them are intimidating as well, you know.